baga nagaan dhuftaniin ja'a haasawa kiyya afaan Oromootiin qopheessee ture. Keessummaan hedduun waan nu keessa jirtu jecha afaan Ingilizittiin dubbachuu barbaada. Afaan Ingiliz, afaan Oromoo irra beekee, afaan Amaara irra beekee kan hin tahin xiqqoo haasawaaf waan itti hojjedhu isa waan taate jecha waan natti tolu jecha namni dhufees maaseeja keenya kadhaganii jecha afaan Ingiliziin hin dubbadha. I must apologize for two reasons. One, I meant to be here at 6:30. We had guests that came to our house at 5:30, and they were many, and I could not really get up and leave. It's very hard. We all know our cultural background. People come to you, you can't leave and then simply go. Sorry for coming late. Secondly, it was a long time. My Amharic has never been really good, although when I was at Haile Selassie University, I used to write very well in Amharic, but in the last 38 years, I've been out of Ethiopia for 38, it will soon be 39. I did not have many opportunities to speak in Amharic, and my Amharic is not good, so not because my English is better than my Amharic. I just feel comfortable to speak to you in English. And my second apology is, honestly, I was not prepared for this. It was only about half an hour ago when I started scratching what to say. And if I jumped from point to point, confuse you, I apologize in advance. What I want to stress will be really basically 3 points, rather 2 points. The first one is, coming together to discuss developments in Oromia, in other parts of Ethiopia, the heroism our young men and the women are showing there, the brutality the current regime in Ethiopia is inflicting on young men and old. I think it is very timely, it is very important. What kept the Wayanes in power for the last almost 25 years is really the division. They are masters of dividing people. They have perfected it over a long period. And what will keep them in power much longer is if the division continues, because they will always use any weakness, any division that exists. If my limited understanding is accurate, their plan is as much as possible to divide the Oromo and the Amaras. Do everything to turn them against each other. And people without knowing sometimes fall into their trap. And I hope we must really learn from the past and move forward. If the Amara and Oromo elite reach an understanding, trust me, the Wayanes either will change fundamentally, or they will not stay in power in that country. That much is at least clear in my mind. The current situation in Oromia definitely has demonstrated the determination of our peoples not to be subjugated any longer, not to be oppressed. Our people have been abused exploited, violated for so many years, for a very long period. And the people have really said enough, enough is enough. And this has been clearly shown, and the young, the old, everyone have shown that element. I am beginning to feel the TPLF leaders no longer really sleep in peace. I don't have evidence, but when people rise up like this, the dream that they have of staying in power for a long time, I truly know about that aspect. They planned to rule that country for a long time, basically by dividing, turning people against each other. They have now become very wealthy, very rich. I am really surprised no one has called so far, simply asking why not the leaders of Ethiopia contribute their wealth to saving the lives of millions of people who are dying now in Ethiopia of hunger. If they have any concern for the well-being of the people, the first thing they would have done is to simply contribute their own resources. Mobilizing resources from outside is good, but they should have shown that, and so far, at least I have not seen anything in that direction. And people outside, our people outside, all Ethiopians, everyone, must really read this issue. If the leaders have concern for the well-being of those who are exposed to hunger, they must invest their own wealth. They have accumulated huge amount of wealth, and that wealth, first and foremost, must go to the hungry, to feed the hungry. If the present trend continues, I feel the TPLF will not continue ruling the population in Ethiopia the way they have done in the last 24 years. What is also happening in Ethiopia, especially in Oromia, is really, it simply shows the weakness of the OPDO, the organization that claims to represent the Oromo population. I've never thought they represent the Oromo population. Everybody now knows who they represent. They have either to be with the people or against the people, and those who are always against the people, they will not survive. Let me repeat what I have just said. The TPLF leaders will use every means possible to crush popular resistance in different areas of Oromia. Those of us who are lucky enough to live in freedom, without fear, without persecution, without being detained, arrested, we have incredible opportunity to expose the crimes that are committed really daily. Why do I say this? We all have relatives at home, especially those of us who come from different regions of Oromia. We have relatives. If we call every other day and then just ask what happened in their area yesterday, who was killed, what was the name of the person who was killed, who were wounded, how many people were arrested, and then if this information is put on the Facebook, it reaches many people. And if this information is, of course, broadcasted on radio, television, and so on, many people will hear about it and they will really be exposed. It is extremely important, especially really in terms of recording the names of individuals who have been killed, who have been wounded. Just this afternoon, I called Badano. I come from eastern part of Ethiopia, Hararge region, Eastern Oromia, from the town of Badano. A friend of mine and I called there, and they told us, this is what I had this very afternoon. The students in high school yesterday were not allowed to go out of the high school, and they were basically condemning the regime, condemning the Opidio the whole day there. And then around the evening, the soldiers came in, started beating them up. About 150 students were arrested only yesterday in Badano. Yeah. And I also heard this very afternoon, someone was killed. I did not get the name of the individual, but someone was killed in Haromaya, in Harar area. Collecting this, the killings, as well as those who are wounded, whose lives are destroyed, is absolutely crucial, very, very important. One way of destroying the credibility of the ruling class in Ethiopia, the ruling elite in Ethiopia, the way of also convincing international community is really by exposing the crimes that are taking daily in that part of the world. If the crime is committed in Gondar,